We're trying to identify the victims of human trafficking. And when we do, from the moment they come into the operation, we want to immediately hand them off to our social services friends and our counselors so that they can begin working with these victims of human trafficking. These are some of the most difficult victims to work with. We know there are a lot more of them that admitted, but as you can see that we have fuzzed out the faces of several that have admitted or either we suspect. And then there's one that we had to tape over this morning that was in the county jail who just this morning admitted to us, okay, I am a victim of human trafficking, I would like services. So our goal is to start these services the moment that they are taken into custody, and then to treat them as what they are, victims, not suspects of criminal events. I might point out if others of these prostitutes come forward later as victims, there's specific law in the state of Florida that's really terrific that causes us to go in and eliminate all evidence of an arrest, photographs, reports, court actions, and they're treated as a victim. And it's important to understand that if there were no Johns, if there were no customers, there would be no prostitutes, and there would be no human trafficking. But folks, the overwhelming majority of these ladies are or have been in the past taken advantage of. You know, they used to call them, oh, he's the one who provides for me. He's the one that gives me a ride. But what we've found is many times that, in fact, this person is trafficking this lady. He's making a profit off of her. He is controlling her very life. As I said, some of these victims are hardcore because they've learned that these traffickers control their very life, what they wear, where they live, their drugs, their food, their entire life. We've got to break all that down. So having services on site to deal with this is very important. So today we have asked our colleagues who would like to present. Our police chief said, hey, Sheriff, you got it. But we do have the opportunity to hear from Jody Domain. She's from One More Child. And there's representatives that were at the operation from Heartland for Children, Children's Home Society, DCF, Amanda Wilson. She said she's not going to talk. Saleha Freedom was with us, and Dr. Marianne Thomas from My Name, My Voice. So we'll start with Dr. Thomas, and then next Jody Domain will speak.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Marianne Thomas, and I am with the organization My Name, My Voice. And just first, thank you to the sheriff for inviting me back again to do this operation, along with the fine men and women who conducted it. It is so important that we are able to do this, that in that first instant that a victim is identified, that we are able to immediately stand alongside that victim and sit with them through questioning, help them along their path of talking to police and being able to walk out of that life. Thank you to all of the PDs that also showed up and lended a hand. I worked with some amazing people this time. I have to say these operations are better every time. I'm proud to be a part of it. I saw people who are detectives or officers for different organizations come and ask me about victims from previous operations and how they are doing. I saw people come in this operation and come and say, I see something, I feel something is off here. Can you come check it out? And I was able to immediately go and talk to that person and see if they needed help. And so I'm so proud to be here. And if you're someone who I met on this operation and you were under arrest and you were there to sell yourself, I just want to remind you something you heard me say that night. You don't have to do this. You can do something different. I am standing here saying it can be done. And so please, you are given a packet of paper with different phone numbers. Call one of them. If you don't get the answer you need, call the next one. But please make those calls. And if you're someone who was arrested for purchasing a person, that's not okay. Okay, we don't buy people. That's not okay. And so I'm sorry we had to meet like this, but I'm really glad that we do this because I really hope you have learned a lesson here. Thank you so much.
Okay. Jody?
Thank you, Sheriff Judd. My name is Jody Domingue. I'm the Executive Director of Anti-Trafficking at One More Child. One More Child is a nonprofit organization that served over 320,000 children and families last year by coming alongside foster children, hungry children, struggling families, single moms, and trafficked children and adults. We've worked these human trafficking operations with the Polk County Sheriff's Office and the various agencies represented here today, and every single time we are able to identify several potential victims of human trafficking. But what we also know is that everyone that walks through those doors to be purchased, after we sit down and we hear their stories, they have had histories every single time of being abused and being sexually exploited. So our teams, made up of advocates, peer mentors, and mental health counselors, are able to come alongside of them immediately to offer life-changing services that begin the restoration process immediately. So we're going to ask this. If you have children in your life, because we know now more than ever, children and young adults are susceptible for being trafficked and sexually exploited, please be involved in their lives. Find out who their friend groups are and what their friend groups are doing. Find out what they're doing on the internet. Check out their social media apps. Monitor them. Find out what websites they're frequenting. And please learn the signs to identify human trafficking and grooming. And once you identify it, please intervene by reaching out to the Polk County Sheriff's Office and your local law enforcement agency, and if it's a child, DCF, Department of Children and Families. If you would like more information on how to identify the signs of grooming and human trafficking or how to intervene, please contact us at onemorechild.org. I just want to thank Sheriff Judd and the Polk County Sheriff deputies, the various agencies represented here today. As Dr. Marianne Thomas said, and we echo, it is of excellence, and how they are treating potential victims and those that are exploited is just bar none. They are now very, very advantageous about getting these services implemented immediately. So thank you all for your time, and thank you for your service.